there is a complexity. Complexity means the complex nature of the nutrition is there. Now, when we talk about nutrition, so in a nutshell, it is called as the process through which we can get health, we can get the energy, we can get the nutrition, energy for health and growth and repair and all sorts of bodily activities that happen. We can get the energy from the food that we obtain, right? Now, depending upon all of these things, from where the food is coming, the nutrition is of two major types. The first kind is autotrophic, the second kind is heterotrophic. Auto means self, and you can say that these are the two types of nutrition, or you can also say that these are the two modes of nutrition, right? So when we talk about the autotrophic mode of nutrition, so if I say autotrophic, what comes in your mind? Plants, right? Plants come in your mind.
Plants.
Yeah, plants come in your mind, correct. So exactly, now it's not just the plants. There are certain bacteria that are also autotrophic, meaning they are capable of synthesizing their own food along with all the green plants. Now remember students, this is a very important thing, that it's not all the plants can do photosynthesis or can make their own food. No, only the green plants can. If I hand you a yellow plant and I ask you to know, now you have to put it in the sunlight and make it do photosynthesis, make it prepare the food. It will never be able to do so, no matter how hard you try. Green plants are the only ones that can make their own food. Along with them, there are certain bacteria that can do so. Now, under the autotrophic mode of nutrition, there are two kinds: photosynthesis and chemosynthesis. Now, that depends upon the source of energy. For example, the photosynthesis, I think here almost all of you know that the process of photosynthesis, it takes place in the presence of sunlight, isn't it? If sunlight is not there, the photosynthesis cannot happen. Now, photo, the word photo and synthesis, if you break the whole entire word, so you'll have photo referring to light, and synthesis referring to production of something or making something. So photosynthesis is that process wherein the green plants synthesize their food with the help of the sunlight. That is, here the sunlight becomes the source of energy for the plant. When we talk about chemosynthesis, so here light is not the source of energy, meaning here the source of energy is certain chemical, okay, certain inorganic material like maybe sulfur, maybe iron, right? All of these things, but not the sunlight. So autotrophic mode of nutrition can be of two types, that is photosynthesis and chemosynthesis. Any doubts? Anything people want to ask? No? Okay. So, normally we say that use of the simple food materials from inorganic sources like carbon dioxide, water, all of these things are required. These are the raw materials. Now we'll dive in depth with the photosynthesis. Now, all of you know the one basic definition. You've been learning it for a while, I think so. The process by which green plants make their own food with the help of carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and chlorophyll is what we call as photosynthesis. Now, remember students that if even if you take out one of the component, will the photosynthesis happen?
No.
No, it will not. It will never happen. Carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and chlorophyll, these are the raw materials that the plant uses. And ultimately, what is the food of the plant? Like after photosynthesis, what does the plant make? Hmm? What does the plant make, students?
Glucose.
Glucose, yeah. And always remember that glucose is a carbohydrate. You people know carbohydrates are energy giving foods, right? So those carbohydrates are made by after the process of photosynthesis has been completed. So if someone asks you like what is the food of the plant, so you'd say the food of the plant is a carbohydrate, particularly glucose. And what is the formula for glucose, students? Formula of glucose. Students, you know this. C6.
6CO2 plus 12H2O.
That is like the chemical equation. No, I'm asking the chemical formula of glucose. So that is C6H12O6, meaning a glucose molecule is made up of 6 carbon molecules, 12 hydrogen molecules, and 6 oxygen molecules. So all in all, C6H12O6 is the formula for glucose. Now, let us see the reaction of photosynthesis. So, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide along with 12 molecules of water in the presence of chlorophyll and in the presence of sunlight. See, students, in any chemical reaction, if anything is written on top of the arrow or below the arrow, it signifies that it is like the whole thing is happening in the presence of that thing. So if I've written CHL, that stands for chlorophyll, or if I've written sunlight, meaning this process is taking place in the presence of chlorophyll and in the presence of sunlight. And what is the end product? We get C6H12O6, that is glucose. Along with that, we get 6 molecules of water and 6 molecules of oxygen. And this oxygen is known as the byproduct of photosynthesis. Now, I have one question to all. And students, I told you, you people will switch off your videos when I ask you to do so. So everyone switch on your videos. Don't do like this, please. All right. I was saying, I was asking something. I was asking this one question that do the plants require oxygen? Yes or no?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
All of you agree? Now,
Yes.
see, we know that after the process of photosynthesis is done, the oxygen molecule has been synthesized. So the plant uses all of this oxygen. Tell me. The plant uses all of the oxygen.
No.
Okay, that's not a very sure no. No, yes. Think and tell me. Think, what do you think? The plant uses the oxygen or it does not use the oxygen? What? Something would happen, right? It would use it or else it will not use it. So
Yeah,
does
it will
it
use it.
see? It does use it. The plant does use the oxygen, but not all of it. Had plants been using all of the oxygen, how would we survive? We breathe in oxygen, right, students? How would we survive if the plant would be like, okay, I'll make my glucose, I'll make my oxygen, I'll take all of my oxygen, I'll not give these humans or animals anything. So we'll die ultimately, isn't it? So this oxygen molecule, a very little amount of it is used by the plants. Rest, every single oxygen molecule is used by us, animals, for breathing purpose. Right? We inhale oxygen, we give out carbon dioxide. So all in all, we can say that we take care of the plants take care of us. Right? That is the reason why. See, the reason that the plant does not use all of the oxygen, rather it is given out in the atmosphere for us to use for breathing. So we call oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis. It is used by human beings. Now see students, after the food of the plant has been made, meaning after the glucose molecule has been made, the plant stores it. Just like how when we cook anything in the kitchen. For example, you're in the kitchen and you're cooking something. Okay. So you cooked it. Now, when you are standing in the kitchen, will you eat every single thing then and there only? Like you've cooked it. It's still in the pan. and you took a fork or a spoon and you started eating it. Will that happen?
No, it will save it as glycogen.
Yeah, that's true. But I am talking in terms of like you will not, you will store it directly as glycogen. You will not
No, not
eat all
us,
of it.
plants.
No, 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 no. Plants don't store it as glycogen. Plant has a storage called as starch. Glycogen is our storage, animals. Okay, starch is for plants, glycogen is for us. The thing that I meant to say by this particular example is that plants do not use all of the glucose that it makes. It stores it for later on. So the plant stores it in the form of starch, which is the reserve food material of plants. Same way, the reserve food material of animals is glycogen. Clear, students? Okay. And if we talk about the example of cooking something in the kitchen, then we store it in like pots and stuff so that the whole family can eat together whenever it is dinner time or lunch time or anything of that sort, right? So glycogen is when we take the food in our body and it doesn't get like all of it does not get released or used all of at once, right? So we store our food, like the reserve food of animals is glycogen and the reserve food of plants is starch. Any doubts up until now? Every single thing is
Oh,
clear?
yes.
Okay. All right. Now you people can note it down. Then we'll talk about how the process of photosynthesis takes place. Also, for those of you students who have already written it down, you can see if you have missed anything, you can note that, or else we'll just wait. Okay. So, Ibad, you and Ayan, you people have to take down the notes, right? Okay. Done, students?
Yes.
Done, students? Done, students? Students, are you done? All right, now let us talk about the process of photosynthesis, or how the whole entire photosynthesis takes place. Now, the big process of photosynthesis has been divided into just three stages, or you can say the three steps. The first one is that the light energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll molecule. Now, we always say that the photosynthesis can be done by the green plants. Now, we say that because the green plants are the only plants that have chlorophyll molecule in them. And because of the presence of chlorophyll molecule, they can perform photosynthesis. Now, the first step that happens is that the light energy from the sun gets absorbed by the chlorophyll molecule. The first step. Secondly, that light energy can't be used as such, so that light energy gets converted into chemical energy, And simultaneously, like while the light energy is being converted into chemical energy during that time, the splitting of water molecule takes place. Meaning, we know that H2O is the chemical formula for water. It has been made up of two hydrogen molecules and one oxygen molecules. So when we break down the water molecule, then what happens? Then hydrogen and oxygen are released again. So the splitting of water molecule takes place. Lastly, the reduction of the carbon dioxide to carbohydrates, meaning the carbohydrates that are formed. They are formed as a result of the reduction of CO2. So we saw that the light energy is being absorbed by the chlorophyll molecule. The light energy is getting converted into chemical energy. And at the same time, the water molecule is breaking down into its two components, that is hydrogen and oxygen. Lastly, the carbon dioxide which the plant was taking in as a raw material, that is getting reduced to a carbohydrate. Clear? So this is what happens. Many a times a question can be asked, like the oxygen which is released as a byproduct of photosynthesis, where does it come from, students? The
Can I
oxygen,
repeat?
yeah, the oxygen that is released as a byproduct of photosynthesis, where does it come from?
The splitting of water molecules from hydrolysis.
Yes, hydrolysis itself means water molecule splitting. So whenever water molecule splits, it gives us hydrogen and oxygen, and that is the oxygen that gets liberated out. So ultimately, many people, earlier when photosynthesis was being discovered, like people were learning more about it, they thought that the O2 is coming from CO2. But no, later on it was proved with the help of certain experiments. You people will study this in class 11. So it was proved that the water molecule gets split into hydrogen and oxygen, and that is the oxygen that gets released into the atmosphere. Clear, students? Any doubts? All right. Now, in terms of how the plants, they take in the carbon dioxide and give out the oxygen. So very simple one word answer with the help of stomata. Now, stomata is a pore-like structure and it is present in abundance underneath the surface of the leaf. For example, if this is the leaf, this is the top surface and this is the lower surface. So the lower surface has more number of stomata as compared to the upper surface. There is a very valid reason that the number of stomata present in the lower side is much more to protect from excessive loss of water, because the upper side will be exposed more to the environment. So more and more oxygen, this thing, lots of water can be lost if this part is exposed to the environment. So that is why the stomata, because they are pores, they are just holes, so they are present in abundance underneath the surface of the leaf. Now, this stomata is responsible for the gaseous exchange of the plants and the opening and closing. See, the stomata, it remains open during the daytime and it closes during the night. So what happens is that ultimately we are seeing that the stomata is opening and it is closing, right? So the process through which, or you can say the apparatus through which the stomata can open and close, it is known as guard cells. Guard cells are the cells that help the stomata to open and to close. Now they are present on the either side of the stomatal pore. And how do they regulate the opening and closing? The guard cells, they take up the water from the surrounding and they swell up. So when they swell up, they open the stomatal pore. And when they shrink down, meaning the water gets lost from them, so at that point of time, the guard cells, they shrink down and the stomatal pore closes. Sort of like this. If my two hands are the guard cells, so when they get swollen, so it sort of opens the stomatal pore like this. And when it loses the water, so it gets shrunken, so it closes it back up. Okay, now the guard cells that are swollen, we call them as turgid. turgid guard cells. And the guard cells that are shrunken, we call them as flaccid guard cells. So guard cells and their function is clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now you can note it down.